recognise their commitment, acknowledge their achievements and celebrate their success.
He's introduced his own community award scheme, he's self-financed it, and he goes around presenting these awards to many people. He goes to schools, youth centres, churches and lots of other organisations, and he does a really good job, and it's appreciated by the people he nominates the awards to.
Well, I wanted to do this because I wanted to support the unsung hero. The unsung hero never gets mentioned, the type of community work they do, and it gave me a golden opportunity to put them in the picture, and since then it's been a complete success.
The contribution that Roy has made to the community has been tremendous. He's helped local schools, he's helped youth clubs, individuals, lots of other things, and it's been a great encouragement for everybody in the whole of North Manchester area. Roy, as well as introducing his community awards scheme, also donates trophies which he buys from my little sports stall in the Moston area, and he actually donates them to football matches, five-a-side, and we had all girls five-a-side football, and that was a great success. But what the beauty was, everybody got recognition because everybody receives a certificate. But the winning team and the runners-up team won Roy's special trophy, and that was nice. Roy's managed to keep going. I don't know how he does it. He must have something there, a little thing at the back of his mind to keep him motivated, because of Roy's epilepsy and his own illnesses, he keeps other people going, and it's nice for things like that to motivate other people.
It's gave a lot of people a lot of hope, and they feel very satisfied in what they do by helping other unfortunate people.
I feel that this award at this time of life would be a real boost to his whole morale.
They've had such wonderful letters, and when I look at them letters, it gives me quite a boost. I feel very excited when I present these awards, as well as being presented with an award myself, really, and that's how I look about life. I don't think about myself, I think about other people.
The local community's response to the wardens is very positive, and they're quite happy with the presence of them being on North Moor Road, which is, I'd say, is only a good thing. And also with the reduced number of crime in the area, the wardens play a big part along with the police presence, which gives everyone that little bit more confidence with walking around the streets.
We get the children to do the litter picks so that they will gain a sense of responsibility for their own community. Hopefully this sense of responsibility will go into their teenage years, so then they're not feeling a sense of animosity towards everybody they perceive to be in a position of authority, that they'll grow up being proud of where they're from and not just disregarding it as just another area. Yes, we've done quite a lot of initiatives with elderly residents. We felt that there was definitely a need for some help there. One of them being an escort service to the post office, particularly in the Christmas period when their pensions are paid out 2 weeks at once. They were becoming, there's some quite serious targeting of older people at that time of year. We just took some older residents, and there'd been some. It was obvious that they were being targeted for some sort of serious burglaries while they were all present in the properties. And I spoke to people about, you know, CCTV and major complicated alarm systems, and they weren't available and the funding wasn't there. So I just tried to think, what could we do? And I used the personal tack alarms and used the bracket and just fitted it to the back door, the inside door of the flats, and explained to the resident how it works, and that if anybody forces the door once it's connected, it will make a hell of a noise, and hopefully they'll think twice about it.
I really appreciate having the Northmoor community wardens in the area, because they've helped me and other residents in the area improve where we live, and they've put us in contact with a lot of agencies where really without their help we wouldn't have known where to start really. And also it's a good, strong, friendly team, and they're very approachable.
I think there is an element with that with everybody. I don't think that they could do this work without caring about the area in which they're working, you know, and the people. We all come from similar areas. If it's not actually this community, it's a very similar community to this. So, you know.
They're so good at the jobs because they're really committed and dedicated to the work they do within the community. I think they all have a sense of community within them when they apply for that type of job. They're very controlled and disciplined, and they've got quite a passion about the area that we live in.
The reason I nominated Jean was for years since I was young, she's been doing things for neighbours, my family, shopping when they're poorly. She visits, like there was a lady round in the next street from us who was very poorly. She actually got robbed and she was took into hospital. June visits, she's got no family, she visits her like 3 times a day sometimes, and when she came home she got all her house decorated and bought her a single bed, and she went round every evening with dinner for her, and she used to go round at the night time and make sure she was washed and put her into bed and make her a supper, then go back round in the morning, make her breakfast. And in between this, I mean, she's got a husband who's not well, he's partially sighted, and she's just done remarkable. She's remarkable, you know, the way she fits everything in.
What makes her a good neighbour is she looks after a lot of sick and elderly people around here. And the children, for a start, she takes a lot off me because I've 17 grandchildren and bad heart. But she takes them in, gives them dinner and parties, little parties, takes them to Stockport and roundabouts and everything. She's really good.
She's well known in all fields, as I said, from children to adults. I mean, for instance, tomorrow night she's been actually asked to go to an award at an old people's home. They've won some award for doing the community, you know, it's a really nice home. And they've actually asked her as a guest to come along because she's done so much for the home. So she's appreciated in all fields, really.
I think this is what's needed in communities today, you know. There's too many elderly people, you know, on their own, with no one to care for them. And it doesn't take a minute to knock on the door and say, I know they can be very cantankerous. They can. And sometimes it's pride with them. But, you know, I think with a little bit of kindness and understanding, you know, you let them realise that you don't want to take their independence away, but you just want to be there, you know, to give them a little bit of support.
Chris lives in a very negative area, full of muggings, car crime and vandalism. However, his positivity shines through. He's a role model to many young people in the area. He's passionate about his work. He's an excellent basketball player, and that's one of the sports he coaches. And he uses the positivity of sport and the health and the benefits that come along with it to bring about a positive change in the community.
I've played basketball for quite some years, and I've danced since I was a small child, and I never really got to the stages that I'd like to have, but it's very important for me now to pass on the knowledge that I have to the children that are going to be in my position in the future, try and give them a better start than they would normally have.
The east side area has no basketball facilities whatsoever, and Corpus Christi, the school that Chris is very familiar with, is the only one that has any facilities. We had a coaching competition last year, which was a citywide competition, and Chris went to all the schools, provided individual coaching to all the different schools, and at the competition itself, the representatives came third, which again is an astonishing achievement considering that the school had never received any coaching before.
I think it's very important to give children a place to go these days. They don't have many options available to them away from the things that are provided by such organisations as Manchester Leisure. And the things that I do, the after-school clubs and the other sporting projects, give them somewhere to go and be safe and stay out of trouble. And hopefully we'll be providing the children with skills that they can use on and off the playing field, such as leadership, teamwork.
Chris isn't someone who lives out in the sticks and comes in and coaches the young people in the area. He's from the area, he's been brought up in the area. I'm sure he's been through some tough times himself, and he uses this experience and knowledge to really care about the kids. And care is not a word that's normally used in sport. And not only does Chris play basketball and coach basketball and a number of different sports, but he's also a university student. He's a talented guitarist and he plays in a band, and he also, I'm sure he won't like me saying this, but also dances. So he's a multi-talented young man.
I borrow time from God occasionally to fit all my activities in. It's never been a question of finding time, it's been a question of using my time the way I want to use it. And the children and the sport are a great way of using my time, I feel.
He can make a change now, and he can make a difference and provide young people with something to do, instead of maybe some of the old people in the area saying there's nothing for the kids to do and there's no facilities and whatever. And Chris is, instead of talking about it, he's doing something about it.
All right, we put the balls in the bag and make sure there's someone to take you home. Thank you very much.
Christos, I want the same. I want you working up on your snatches to 15, then 17 and a half. Okay, your dad can watch you on those, and I want good technique. And for you, Daniel, and I will eventually, probably be last but not least, I'll come over. I want you to work on squats. Then I want you doing the squats with the weight above your head, bench snatch balance. I'll give your dad a shout so we can do that. So everybody knows exactly what you're doing. Okay? Any questions? Right, let's go then.
I nominated the club for a community award because I've known Terry Surridge for so long, and I've actually assisted coaching him here for the last 6 or 7 years. The club has grown over that period. Terry's enthusiasm since being a young PE teacher has never waned, and like you can see tonight, he's still here from school 2.5 hours later, coaching young people who want to learn.
Basically, it gives them a sense of purpose. They enjoy the training, because without saying that they really try the best that they do from. It teaches them how to stand on their own 2 feet, basically. Gives them confidence, teaches them technique, and also teamwork when they're competing together.
It originally started, as we've said, as a school-based club, but is now expanding, and we're getting young people travelling from as far as St Helens to pick up basic lifting skills and techniques that they can take back and learn how to participate in the sport. Along with that, competition has come into the club. We run championships here in school, and the local community itself is very aware that Wright Robinson has a very strong, nationally recognised weightlifting club.
Well, they're really kind, and if you need anything, like weightlifting boots and bars and stuff at home, they'd let you lend some.
I think Wright Robinson Weightlifting Club deserves a community award, firstly because it is for the community, and they're there for people, and it is open in the evenings for local people to come and take part and learn a sport. But it's also very much a club that has helped itself. It's largely been self-funding. It doesn't download off the school's budget, so the income it generates is from the efforts it puts in helping with competition, raising funds through the participants who take part, paying for their own competition fees and equipment. I think they're deserving of a little bit of reward for that.
Frank's taken on all sorts of work, environmental, including regular clean-ups on the estates, gardening, in-bloom competitions, being a winner himself as well, he's also won that. Tenancy issues, he's always got an ear for listening to people about their tenancy issues. He passes all this information on to Manchester Housing. He's another pair of eyes and ears as far as we're concerned at Manchester Housing.
This estate itself was in a bad state. It wasn't environmentally friendly and it needed cleaning up, so the only way we could do it is to jump forward and get into it.
You know, some of the tenants on the estate, especially some of the younger, newer tenants who maybe cannot afford power tools and different types of gardening equipment, we saw a need for the tenants there and set up a hire scheme where they could lend anything from a pair of shears to a lawnmower to hedge cutters, and also he gives out advice on gardening because he's a very keen gardener himself.
Well, the Angling Club, I'm not really a fisherman myself, but we saw a need on the canal, and the canal people came to us to see about setting this up. And since then we've been going now for about 18 months now of getting it setting up. Finally we're getting somewhere. The canal people are going to fish, put fish in the canal for £5,000. We're having jetties built on the canal site for disabled, and also a canister of the place at the back where we're going to put fishing gear in, and children and adults will be trained to fish, and also the environment. It'll clean up the canal and it'll look a lot better, and the barges will start coming down again. These came down for Festival of Manchester, a team that came from Oldham, Lincoln and Glasgow. Here you see a group weeding the pavements. There's a group here where they're putting the plants into the beds that the clean team did. On top of that, they went to 8 houses on the estate and they did the gardens for them and cleaned up in general. And we got many thank you letters for that. The final day was this one at the bottom, when we all got photographed together on our final day when we dealt them with McDonald's, we got all McDonald's meal for them, and they enjoyed themselves. But it was great to meet with them, to get kids involved, and they worked hard, which was good.
Frank deserves to win this award because, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, he's not a man of young years, tender years, he's not of good health, but he's still very committed to what he does. He puts 100% into it all the time and nothing seems to put him off. He's had knockbacks in the past, health-wise, and disappointments in not getting what he wants. But he still goes on at it, and for a man of his age I'm really impressed and just hope I can be like that when I'm his age.
Okay everyone, what we're going to do now, we're going to do the planting of the flower bed. If everyone can stay in the partners, there's one partner who will have the trowel. The other partner is going to take charge of the plants.
The children from St Chrysostom School, which is next to the park, they've had a competition in which they're designing a quiet garden, which is designed for older people. And I say today is the day they're putting the bulbs in. Previous to that, just about everything we've had in the park has been for children. It's the children's playground as a sports area. So this is something they're involved in, which is for older people.
The Friends of Swinton Grove Park always look for solutions. Everyone always knows what the problem are, and when you work in a community it can become very easy to get stuck on the problems.
I got involved with the Friends of Swinton Grove Park because I wanted to look out my kitchen window and see something a lot more prettier than an ugly five-a-side pitch, and just it looks so much better now.
The Friends of Swinton Grove are exceptionally good at working in partnership with other organisations. Themselves, they actively get involved with other groups and invite them to come along.
I got involved with the Friends of Swinton Grove Park last year, September, following a fun day held in the park in the July. It was an absolutely fantastic day here. All the community was out. There must have been 600 or 700 people in the park on that afternoon, and it was a glorious afternoon, and fun was had by all.
Swinton Grove Park has changed in so many ways. A lot of those ways that are very obvious and physical. For example, the swings, the sports area, more benches. But there's lots of work that's gone on behind the scenes to improve that. For example, the drainage has been improved, the paths have been widened, so there's better access for those in wheelchairs or with push chairs. It's also improved in terms of the way the community uses it. There's always people in there now. It gets a lot of wide use. The clearest beneficiaries of the improvements of the park are the people that live in the local area, especially the children and young people who now have facilities. And I think to see an outdoor space so well used by the local community and clearly so well loved does a boost for Manchester as a whole, as well as the Swinton Grove area.
I think it's great in an area like this where there's a lot of bad news in the press. There are about shootings and gangs and stuff like that, to see a bit of good news happening, which is people coming together and doing some really positive stuff, getting facilities into the park, giving children things to do and young people things to do.
With any community activist anywhere, you've really got to think to yourself, well, how do they get the time to do that on top of everything else? And that's the reason that they deserve an award, because we don't know where people get the time and the passion to give so much to the community that they live in. That's what makes it special.
I believe your school's going to look after it as well. You're going to maintain this garden. So can I just give everyone a big round of applause? Well done.
The reason I nominated June was for years since I was young, she's been doing things for neighbours, my family, shopping when they're poorer.
June's a fantastic neighbour, my children love her. She looks after them really well. During the summertime, if they fall over or hurt themselves, they come in and she helps them, she bathes the little knees, she brings them on trips out because there's not much to do around here. She likes to do puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. She's got great patience. She loves to play with the kids, which is what they need. They find her very interesting and they really like her.
Every time I look out, she's rushing past, going shopping for someone. But if you say to her, you know, it's my little girl's birthday, oh no, I've got a cake ready for her. Every child in the street and in the next street on the birthdays gets a birthday cake and a present. At Christmas they all get £5 in a card, and that's every child in the couple of streets.
As I said to you before, you're going into the shop, you're going down to the post office, so what difference does it make? You know, you're not, well, I don't think I am putting myself out. You're just doing a neighbour a good turn.
Like 2 months or 3 months before Christmas, start buying presents in for all the children, all the families in the avenues, and she'll give every one of them a little gift each on Christmas morning, a little card of each of the names on.
Another thing as well with the children, like for instance yesterday my little girl, we always send a Mother's Day card in because she hasn't actually got her own children. As we said earlier, she's only got a stepdaughter, and she was in tears yesterday when she got this card saying Happy Mother's Day, you know, to you as well, and give her a bottle of wine, and she was crying over it, and she, you know, she doesn't expect anything, but if you do give her a card,
But all
and
the
a bunch of
children
flowers,
make her cards. The children in the area make a Mother's Day card. You know, they'll crane stuff, and even to that, she keeps them. You know, she thinks that's absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
She does loads of things for everybody. There's not anybody around here that could really say, you know, at some stage she hasn't really helped them out. She really is a nice neighbour. She's lovely. I love her, mate. She's great. All the children at Mother's Day, you can tell, they all go around with cards to her, you know, because she's so good to them. And I think the parents realise that as well, don't they? Most of them, anyway.
Well, it's not just our family. She goes to everybody's family. She does.
You know, they've all had a turn. Even the older children that have grown up now have had a turn. You know, like my nieces, they're 14 now, and they used to go and sit down in June. And, you know, but she really does help.
Well, it's the one thing you can give away, isn't it? And doesn't cost you anything to give away a smile.
Well, to me, she's more like a mother I never had. She's always asking how I am when I come out of hospital, did I need anything? Just to send someone down if I needed anything.
Yeah, she's good.
So she's always
just
been like that.
Rely on her for anything, really,
Yeah.
you know.
If we had more people like June in the area, I think we could control the youths around here, because just like probably most areas, we do suffer a lot with young children, say 13, 16-year-olds vandalising places and tormenting older people. June goes out, not bothered about herself at all, and chases them away. If she thinks someone is being harassed too much, she'll actually ring the police and make sure that the person is settled before she goes home herself and relaxes.
You know, when we had no heating at all and I just come out of hospital, and she come down to bring down a heater and everything. Yeah. Was they all right? Did I need anything extra? She was good like that.
Yeah.
There was about 8 youths tormenting a woman who'd not long lost her husband, and she was very old and she wasn't too well, and June went right over to them and amongst a lot of them and absolutely went mad, shouted so loud that I got scared myself, and they ran. They didn't go back, and she went over and walked round and checked all night to make sure they didn't come back. You know, you could do with more people like June in the area.
And as long as the Almighty gives me the strength to carry on, I think that's what He's put me here for, to be perfectly honest. Because I'm not brainy academically. I'm more like doing, you know, basic manual work, but office work, and that bores me to tears. But I'm much happier if I'm on the go, around people and helping people and doing things for people. And that's me.
I think if June was rewarded with a community award, she just doesn't feel she deserves any payback, because she enjoys. She's one of these people that gets great enjoyment out of giving to others and doing for others, and she doesn't feel she deserves it. She feels someone else deserved it more than herself. But I think it'd be one of the best things that could ever happen to June, to get an award, the Good Neighbour Award, because it just make her feel probably that she's received something after giving so much to other people.
We